TBN Live
Now, I put everything
HD.
into teaching these children, but until this war is over, none of that's going to matter unless they survive it. All I'm asking is that you allow me to help tend to them until they can get proper treatment.
You're not allowed on the field of battle. You can set up camp outside the area, nothing more, and I will not guarantee your safety should a stray bullet or ball make it to the tree line. Miss?
Claire, Bart.
Do not step foot on the battlefield.
I think she is.
Do not step foot on the battlefield.
I'm shot. Help me.
His wounds are more serious, but I'll come back for you.
Wait, what are you doing? Hey! Help me.
You've lost a lot of blood. We're gonna have to get you to a hospital. I have to go get your friend.
We don't always see how decisions affect future generations, and it's tough for us to know what's behind the different doors we encounter. But here's what I do know. A closed door isn't always a bad thing. In fact, it often leads to an open door that we would have never knocked on otherwise. There's an old aphorism, opportunity knocks. And sometimes that's true, but more often than not, it's the opposite. We've got to knock on opportunity. In the 1989 film Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner plays the role of a novice farmer and baseball lover named Ray Kinsella. While walking through a cornfield, Ray hears a faint whisper, "If you build it, he will come." Well, Ray bets the farm, builds a baseball diamond in the middle of nowhere, and sure enough, the ghosts of baseball past mysteriously appear and play ball. I love that one-liner, "If you build it, he will come." It's one of my film favorites. and it's a pretty good metaphor for faith. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. And it's not just seeing the baseball diamond, it's building it. Remember the command that God gave to the Jewish priests when they came to the Jordan River? He said, "Go and stand in the river." Again, faith is taking the first step before God reveals the second step. I think that's where many of us get stuck. We're waiting for God to go first, but that's not faith. The last two words of Mark's gospel are signs following. We wish it was signs preceding. It'd be a lot easier. I also wish the Lord's Prayer said, "Give us this year our yearly bread." But that would take faith out of the equation. What we want is for God to provide so much that we don't have to trust Him anymore. But He loves us too much to spoil us that way. I have a little mantra. When God gives a vision, He makes provision. During our first year as a church, our income was $2,000 a month. We were barely making ends meet. And it cost $1,600 to rent the DC public school where we met. That left $400 for our salary and all other expenses. In August of that year, I felt like God said in that inaudible yet unmistakable voice that we needed to start giving to missions. Now, to be honest, I was a little resistant, and I'll tell you why. We weren't even self-supporting as a church. I mean, how can you give what you don't have? I don't know if you've ever gotten into an argument with God, but I have. And here's what I've learned. If you win that argument, you lose. And if you lose the argument, you win. I honestly felt like God should be tapping someone else to give to us. But I also felt like it was one of those moments where if you build it, He will come. I felt like we needed to stand on God's promise in Luke 6:38. It says, "Give, and it will be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured unto you." Long story short, I lost that argument, and we gave our first check to missions. Now, it was only a $50 check, but it took all the faith we had to give it, and God blessed it. The next month, our giving tripled, and we've never looked back. This past year, our church took 34 mission trips, and we gave more than $2 million to missions. And we opened a $5 million dream center in a part of our city where we're trying to change some statistics one child at a time. If you build it, He will come. Listen, when God gives a vision, He's going to make provision. By definition, a God-sized dream is beyond our ability and beyond our resources. That's how God gets the glory. The question is this: what $50 step of faith do you need to take? What argument do you need to lose? What line do you need to chase? As I look back on our dream journey as a church, that $50 step of faith was a decisive moment. It was one small step, one giant leap. And I think that's true for each of us. In the plot line of our lives, there are decisive moments. For me, it was giving up a full ride scholarship to the University of Chicago and transferring to Central Bible College to pursue ministry. It was Laura and I packing up a U-Haul truck and moving from Chicago to DC, even though we had no place to live and no guaranteed salary. It was opening a coffee house, even though we had no business going into the coffee business. We only make a few major decisions in life. Then we spend the rest of our lives managing those major decisions. Those are the decisive moments. And they aren't just narratives, they're meta-narratives. As far as we know, Benaiah only chased one line. Granted, that's one more than anybody I know. But it was more than just a one-off. It was a storyline. That one decisive moment defined his life. That one decisive moment defined his approach to life. Chase the lion. Here's the good news. You're one decision away from a totally different life. Now, it might be the toughest decision you ever make, but if you have the courage to make it, It can become a decisive moment and change the trajectory of your life.
Far too often, we doubt our dreams and delay our destinies. Chase the Lion helps you understand why life's greatest fulfillment comes from living in your divine purpose. And you'll discover what happens when you fearlessly chase after your God-sized dream. With grit and gusto, New York Times author Mark Batterson delivers a bold message to everyone with a big dream. To thank you for your gift of $25 or more in support of the worldwide outreaches of TBN, we'll send you your very own copy of the book Chase the Lion.
Chase the Lion by Mark
We'll also include 2 additional books.
Batterson.
In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day, and his latest book, Whisper, How to Hear the Voice of God, where Pastor Mark will introduce you to the 7 love languages of God and how he speaks to us through them, each one unique and entirely divine. Right now,
How beautiful.
you can begin the journey that takes you from your God-given dream into your God-ordained destiny. Hear him, follow him, run to the roar. Call or go online right now to share a gift and request these powerful resources from Pastor Mark Batterson.
In every dream journey, there's a point of no return. It's a decision that can't be undone, like chasing a lion into a pit. Sometimes it's a risk you take or a sacrifice you make. And once you take it or make it, there's no turning back. Those decisive moments are dream markers, and Scripture is full of them. In the Old Testament, it's Moses saying to Pharaoh, "Let my people go." It's Rahab harboring Jewish spies. It's Esther entering the